Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, for this video, I'm going to review one of the other products from Bobbi Brown, and it is their intensive serum line. So I'm going to introduce to you a product that I just recently purchased, and this is the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. Now this is a serum type of primer that contains cordyceps, red algae, and licorice roots, which helps hydrates the skin and gives antioxidants and nourish the skin. And this serum seamlessly layers under intensive serum foundation for luminous radiance. And now I just bought again the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. Now I didn't do a review on this channel, so I'm going to review this foundation for you. And this is actually my third bottle of the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. Now the first two bottles, the shade was natural, and now I bought a lighter shade because my skin tone has lightened. So I bought the shade Warm Sand. So I'm going to do a review on this Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer together with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. So let's get started. Okay, I want to show you the cap of the Bobbi Brown primer. You see this? It has their Bobbi Brown logo. It has the same logo as the one from Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. Look at it. It looks so nice. It looks so luxurious looking. Now I'm gonna apply the primer. It has SPF 25, so it already gives sun protection. So I'm gonna use this as sunscreen. Okay, it has a ivory color and it's a bit runny. It does feel like a serum, so I'm gonna apply this as sunscreen and primer. The moisturizer I used before this primer is also from Bobbi Brown. The Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base is what I used before I'm going to apply the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Primer. Okay. Oh. Has a nice scent, kinda herbally. I also read in the ingredient it also contains ginseng, just like the Intensive Serum Foundation also contains ginseng other than cordyceps. Okay, this is how the primer looks on one side of my face. It does feel moisturizing and hydrating, and this has a tone up effect. So this is not just a sunscreen and a primer, but it's also a tone up cream. And this is how my face looks like without the tone up primer. So I'm going to apply the tone up primer on the other side of my face. Okay, it's been more than 5 minutes have passed, and this is how the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer looks on my face. Now this is the mistake I have learned that when you after you apply your primer, you have to wait at least 5 minutes or more before you apply your foundation, because instead of enhancing the longevity of the foundation, it actually becomes the opposite. It actually makes the foundation look worse if you don't wait for 5 minutes or more. If you apply your foundation after your primer, you have to wait at least 5 minutes or more. So now that more than 5 minutes have passed, and this is how the primer looks like. At first application, it gives you a tone up effect, but now that 5 minutes have passed and it looks like it toned down a little, and it just looks like I have a natural bright face. So now I'm going to apply the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation in the shade Warm Sand. Let's shake this up. Now I'm just gonna let you know that this is not going to be a first impression review, because I already used this already, and this is my third bottle of the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. This is how it's a bit runny. And I'm gonna use a brush to apply this foundation. Okay, this is how the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation looks on one side of my face compared to this side. Now I know it's a little light. The shade Warm Sand is a little light because now I bought a shade lighter than my previous shade because the shade Natural was dark for me now dark for me now that my skin tone has lightened, so I bought a lighter shade. So knowing Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation, they always oxidize on me. So that's why I bought a lighter shade. So I'm going to apply the foundation on the rest of my face. Now on this side, I'm going to use a spatula to see how it performs using a spatula. Now the sponge, I'm going to blend this foundation. So I'm going to use I got a new puff. This is from Ann Klutz brush. Now I'm going to layer the foundation for my under eyes and my under eye circles and my dark spot to see if it can cover well. So I can show you how what's the coverage of this serum foundation. I'm going to blend the foundation with the blendy sponge, just to make sure that the foundation adheres well to my face. Okay, this is how the foundation looks. Now I'm going to do a wear test of this foundation now that I paired this with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. I'm not gonna wear powder, but here's how the foundation performs on my face. This is a hydrating glow foundation, so I have to powder this, and if I don't powder, my face is gonna be really oily with this foundation. I know this foundation is suitable for dry skin, but me with oily skin, I still like this foundation even though it's a glowy foundation and it didn't have good oil control if I use this alone. But with powder, it actually helps. But knowing this foundation is so glowy, and when oil's produced on my face, it fades on mostly on my nose and in my chin area. And this foundation doesn't last long on my oily face. But now that I use this with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer, hopefully this primer will help enhance the longevity of the foundation. And here's how the foundation looks. It looks brightened, and I noticed that when I blend the foundation and on top of the primer, it blends smoothly. You know what I mean? It really has a easy application compared to using this foundation without primer. So I'm going to do a wear test and see how this foundation performs now that it is paired with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Radiance Serum Primer. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, last and final update for my review for the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer and the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation. Now, here's my review when I use these two together. After almost an hour after I applied the foundation and the primer, I'm sorry I didn't get to do a video of it because I was so busy at work. But I look at myself in the mirror, and when I look at myself in the mirror, I saw how flawless, smooth, it looks really flawless on my skin. The foundation on my face, it looks really radiant, it looks flawless, and it's true to its claim that it gives a radiant finish because of the primer. And I was really impressed. It's like, if I were to compare this, when I use this with Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base and compare it with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer, I think that using this as primer before the intensive serum foundation makes the foundation look really radiant and flawless on my face. And I was really amazed on how good my skin is. And throughout the day, a lot of people compliment how good and flawless and smooth my skin looks on my face. So I was really touched by how they compliment on my skin, and even until now it still looks really nice and flawless in my skin. But here's the downside. Because I didn't use powder as expected, the intensive serum foundation was breaking up on my mouth area. Around 4 to 5 hours, my T-zone and my mouth area, it was really oily, and because a lot of oils have been produced, the foundation, actually there's separation mostly on my nose and my mouth area. But from afar, it doesn't look obvious that the foundation separates and fades, but if you look closely, I don't know if the camera can see it, but mostly my chin, here in my laugh lines, and here in my butterfly zone, even here in my cheek area, the foundation separates and fades because I didn't use powder. So compare it without using the primer. Whenever I use the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation, if I use this alone, it will fade and separates. But if I set this with powder, there's minimal fading and minimal separation. But with this, I was expecting that the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer will help enhance the longevity. Well, I would say that it did help enhance the longevity, but compare it without using the primer, it looks really bad. But today, when I use this primer, the separation in my mouth area doesn't really look that bad. And still from afar, it looks really flawless and radiant on my skin. But if you look closely, really closely, you can tell that there's some separation. But it's not really that bad. And like I said, it compared without using the primer. If I don't use this primer when using the Intensive Serum Foundation, the foundation looks really bad on my mouth areas. And if I use this primer, the separation doesn't really look that bad, and it still looks flawless and radiant on my face. So that's my review for the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation together with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. Now here's my first thought about this primer. I really like this primer. I'm really impressed how it really made the foundation look really flawless, look radiant, and it looks so smooth, so flawless and radiant and smooth. And I'm so really touched, and how a lot of people compliment how flawless my skin looks. So I'm gonna do another review on this, and I'm gonna use other Bobbi Brown foundations, and maybe I might try this with other foundations that are not Bobbi Brown, but I have a lot of foundations, so maybe I will give them a try. But for this video, I'm going to use Bobbi Brown for this video. So I'll do another review on this with other Bobbi Brown foundations. So I will see you on the next day. Okay, today is the second day of me reviewing the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. Now for the second day, I'm going to review this primer using the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. So let's get started. I forgot to mention that when you first apply this intensive serum primer, it feels moisturizing, like the typical serum type of moisturizing. But when this primer dries up, it feels matte. That's how it feels. It's moisturizing at first application, but when it dries down, it feels matte. So I'd say that this will work for oily skin. Okay, next is foundation. So the foundation I'm going to review with this primer is the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. Now I'm in the shade Natural. Actually, now the shade Natural, when I first got this, it was a perfect match. But now that my skin tone has lightened already, so this can be a little dark for me. Hopefully the tone up effect of the Intensive Radiance primer really will help brighten the color. Hopefully it will not look dark on me. So I'm gonna apply the foundation and shake. I'm gonna apply with the brush. Next, I'm going to blend the foundation with my Unclut's brushes blending. Make sure the foundation adheres well to my face, and it helps blend the foundation and removes brush streaks. And I'm gonna use the foundation to cover up my under eye circles and some of my blemish dark spots. Okay, this is how the foundation looks with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. It did brighten up the color, so I'm hoping that the tone up effect of the primer will help prevent the foundation from looking dull, and hopefully it doesn't oxidize, because the Bobbi Brown foundation, it doesn't really oxidize on me, which is what I really love about the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. It doesn't oxidize on me, but the color Natural is already a little dark for me. So with the help of the tone up primer, it helps brighten the color, so it doesn't look like it's dark for me. So now I'm going to do a wear test on how this foundation performs now that I use it with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. Now together with these two, it looks really nice and flawless and radiant on the skin. So I'm going to do a wear test to see how this foundation performs together with the primer. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, here's an update, my review with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer and with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. As you can see, I already removed the oil on my face. As you can see, I used two black. It's because I got so oily, I didn't use powder to review this. And I don't think it's the primer or the foundation's fault. It has something to do with the vitamin C serum that I use that made my face really oily throughout the day. So, but as you can still see, after removing the oil, there's still radiance on my face. Still looks good. There's little fading at the tip of my nose, but the rest there's no fading at all. And compared with the Intensive Serum Foundation, when I use the Intensive Serum Foundation with the Radiance Primer, there's a lot of separation in my mouth area. But as you can see, there's no separation with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. And this is how it looks when using the Intensive Serum Radiance Primer and the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. Looks good. So I'll see you guys later. Okay guys, it has been more than 8 hours since I applied the primer and the foundation, and this is how it looks. It still looks flawless. Okay, I'll get back to you later. Okay, today is the last update for my review with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. Here's my update for the review of this Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation together with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. This is how the foundation performs. Throughout the day, my face got really oily, and it's not because of the primer, it's not because of the foundation. I think it has something to do with the vitamin C serum that I've been using, and it really made me really oily. Compare before I used this vitamin C serum. Whenever I used the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation, it didn't make my face oily, and I don't think it has something to do with the primer because it feels matte after it dries down. So it's definitely the vitamin C serum that made my face really oily. And also I didn't powder, so maybe my face would not be that oily if I did set this with powder. I didn't powder because I wanted to test how the foundation performs on top of the primer, and this is how it performs. Compare with the Intensive Serum Foundation. When I used the Intensive Serum Foundation and paired it with the Intensive Serum Radiance Primer, the oils on my whole face, it made the foundation separate. Yes, the Intensive Serum Foundation didn't last long on mostly on my mouth area, but with the Weightless Skin Foundation on top of the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Primer, there wasn't really much separation or fading. I look at myself in the mirror, I look at the chin area and my laugh line. There wasn't any separation. As I don't know if you can see it clearly. There wasn't any separation at all. Even though my face was so oily, the foundation did not separate or fade much. The only parts of my face that actually fade is the oiliest part, which is my nose, and here in the tip of my nose, the foundation fades. Keep that in mind, that only the oiliest part, the foundation fades, and the rest of the face, despite being oily, the foundation didn't fade. Only the nose area, that's only the tip of my nose area fades. So I'd say that the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation and the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer are a good pair. They really are a good pair. So your foundation will not separate when you use this primer, except for the oiliest part, which is the tip of my nose. So maybe I should powder the tip of my nose. Maybe I should powder my T-zone so that probably the foundation will not fade much. So that's my review with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer together with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. So on the next day, I'm going to do a review on this Bobbi Brown Intensive Radiance Serum Primer again. And the foundation I'm going to use with the primer is the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Cushion to see how these two perform. So I'll see you guys on the next day. Okay, this is the third day of me reviewing the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. Today, I'm going to review this primer with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Cushion Foundation, just to see how this cushion foundation performs when I use this primer. Will this be as good as when I use Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation? We're about to find out, so let's get started. Now, I saw a makeup artist from Bobbi Brown, and the way she put the primer with her client, she uses a brush. So I'm going to use a brush to apply the primer. Okay, now that I'm done applying the primer using a brush, it's kind of time consuming. I don't know. I think it's much faster for me to use my fingers to apply, and I don't know, with the brush it looks like I applied a bit too much than I normally apply with using a fingers. So I'm going to proceed with the cushion foundation. Okay, now that more than 5 minutes have passed and the primer has dried up, like I said, it feels kind of matte but still moisturizing. That's how the primer feels. So I'm going to apply the cushion foundation. Now I like to try something else. I want to try if I could. I want to try the Anclutz Blendy. I'm gonna use the Anclutz Blendy when applying a cushion foundation to see how it performs, because knowing this, it doesn't absorb much product compared to a regular cushion puff that absorbs product. So let's see how this performs if I use this to apply cushion foundation. Let's try a brush to pick up the product. Let's try a brush to apply cushion foundation. I don't think the brush helps picking up a lot of products. It seems that a cushion puff is really better than using a brush. Okay, this is now how the cushion foundation looks on my face. It really helps same with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Foundation. The tone up primer helps brighten the color of the foundation a bit, almost one tone brighter now that I use this with the tone up primer. So I'm going to do another wear test of the cushion foundation that is paired with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Primer. So I'm going to do a wear test to see how this cushion foundation performs with the primer. So I'll see you guys later. Okay, update. It's been almost 1 hour since I applied the primer and the cushion foundation, and this is how it looks. It looks really radiant, so flawless. Gives you that healthy looking skin. It really gives skin like. I forgot to tell you that I didn't use powder today, so because I wanted to test how this cushion performs. Every angle there's glow in every angle. It's true to exclaim that the primer really gives radiance and enhances the performance. So I'll give you an update later. Okay, here's an update. It's been more than 5 hours, almost 6 hours since I applied the cushion and the primer, and I just removed the oils on my face, and this is how it looks. Even after my face produced a lot of oil, the cushion foundation didn't separate or not much fading on my face, thanks to the help of the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. So this is how it looks. So I'll give you an update later. Okay, last and final update for my review of the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. And for this day, I reviewed the primer with the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Cushion Foundation. So here's how the cushion foundation performs when using the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Primer. Compared to the other two foundations, the Bobbi Brown Weightless Skin Cushion Foundation has better longevity than the other two. So, and for the first 6 hours, it looks really flawless and radiant on my skin, just like how which is how the performance of the primer is. It's supposed to give increased radiance for any foundation you use. And after 6 hours, my face starts to oil up, and I didn't wear powder when reviewing the cushion together with the primer. and I didn't powder, and even I didn't powder, it really held up well. It really prolonged the longevity of the cushion foundation. After 6 hours, I removed the oils on my face. I did an update a while ago, and there wasn't really any fading or separation, especially in my nose area when I used the primer together with the cushion foundation. And it just shows that after the 6 hours mark, it really lasts long. And then after around 10 to 11 hours, this is how the foundation looks on my face. On the 10th or 11th hour of wearing the primer together with the cushion foundation, I started to see some separation here in my mouth area. So throughout the 8-hour wear, it has better longevity. But and then when it reaches on the 10th or 11th hour, the cushion starts to separate on my mouth area, especially when my face produce a lot of oil. So probably if I set this with powder, it will also help prolong the longevity. So that's how the cushion foundation performs when I use the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. I highly recommend this primer if you wanted to enhance the longevity of your foundation together with adding radiance. So you get good longevity with your foundation and added radiance, so it will give you a healthy glow to your face, at the same time enhance the longevity of your foundation. So I highly recommend this Bobbi Brown, especially with oily skin. Now here's a reminder for people with oily skin like me. I cannot guarantee you that this primer will work for any glow foundation, because a lot of glow foundation does not work for us oily skin. And even if I use this primer with a glow foundation, like when I reviewed this primer, especially when I used this primer with the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Foundation, it did not last long on my face. After my face produced a lot of oil, it separates in my mouth area here, especially in my chin area. So even with the primer, glow foundations will still not, this will not enhance the longevity of any glow foundation for oily skin. Probably with people with dry skin, and if they use this primer together with glow foundation, it probably might last long for them, but for us oily skin, this will not work for us. So this is my review for the Bobbi Brown Intensive Serum Radiance Primer. I hope this review was helpful to you, and if it does, please subscribe to my channel. Comment down below if there's any products you want me to review, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye!